campaign or who made his book series one time, and
one time. This would be my second time. What are you talking about? And
twice. Okay.
yes.
20K subscribers.
Why don't you just record? Why don't you just record yourselves talking about the meta of
Let's just record ourselves talking about 40K for a while.
I was going to say, yeah, really, the thing is, at least you've got a hobby which isn't incredibly, the fan base isn't really kind of divisive and nitpicky when it comes to.
So the Iron Warriors, they have this really cool thing that totally wasn't retconned, right?
Wait.
Well, and I will say this.
What are we referring to?
40K fan base, they go livid whenever you get something wrong.
Well, no, I was more referring to the Iron Warriors thing.
Oh, the Iron Warriors and their one, well, I can't remember if it was a codex or a book or whatever, but they had this cool thing where, people are born in, people are born, right? So what if we just what if we just made the womb bigger by making multiple wombs into one womb?
Yeah.
And then we put a person in it to make a space marine.
I'm so glad we decided to record all this.
Yeah, that was not exactly a shining moment in.
Wasn't there the book of the people who they stay in it? They're incubated to where they're fully grown.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about. Yeah,
it's like the Damon Cubidial or something like that. I don't know.
It works though, right?
Monkey Lava. Yeah. Monkey Lava, yeah. No, I remember hearing about that.
It works in the sense of it's chaos.
From Lord of the Rings, yeah, it works.
We talked about that good old Grey Knight story where they just butchered the Sisters of Battle for no reason other than I'm going to use your blood to make a protective ward, even though I don't need it. I'm just going to kill you. Good job fighting off the demons. I'm going to kill you.
Again, you've just summarized every story in 40K. I'm just going to kill it.
I'm just going to kill it.
Just going to kill it. It's
down there bitterly on the external.
You haven't.
Okay.
You haven't narrowed the narrative down here.
Yeah, I know.
Just giving us the basis. Oh, and just in case anybody's wondering, somebody's really excited about something. I don't know who it is, but somebody's excited about something.
Yeah, we're talking about 40K, and we're going to go play Space Marine after.
Oh, yeah, Peter's first furry con. That's right.
Yet he's not the...
Not furry, scaly.
He's not the scaliest.
It's like when you go to a gaming convention and they have anime cosplay, all right? The things are just so synonymous in the world. It's obsessed about football teams that you really don't want to split the group anymore.
Yeah, it's close enough. Doesn't need any more subgenres.
Well, also, if you're out there and you want some inspiration for fan fiction.
Anyways, I guess we should.
So the game's starting. We are going through a rift Acadia, right? That's what you messaged me about?
At the end of the day, we should at least... People will joke about hobbies and stuff. At least we have a hobby of creativity, whereas traditional existing hobbies currently are the Kardashians and Twitter. So
is that still a thing?
Are the Kardashians still a thing?
I think so. I get ads for them on Disney Plus. That's my entire experience.
Thing. If they're on Disney Plus, they're no longer a thing.
They've kind of they're circling the drain.
Yeah. If they're on Disney Plus, I mean that's basically that's basically like being bought out by Broadsword. You're in maintenance mode at that point.
Broadsword.
they're booting in safe mode.
No, they just start redoing the same seasonal events every year.
The Christmas, the Halloween.
Yeah, the not Christmas. Sorry, the Starlight celebration.
The Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah, whatever.
Starlight.
Sanguinius.
Now all I can think about is Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
I'm getting the boys.
I was also thinking boys.
Yeah.
No, what do they call it on Lord of the Rings Online? Which that's wild. The Lord of the Rings Online lore is wild, by the way.
Is it
How
not
does
the
it
same
compare?
lore?
I was going to say, how does it compare to Rings of Power lore? Is it?
Well, no. I just
Is
mean
this like a
early
divergent
online-
history?
So no, it's not even divergent history necessarily. It's not like the Third Age level divergent history. So Lotro follows the books pretty strictly. Your role is to assist either the Fellowship of the Ring. So you basically either you follow behind them until you get to Rivendell, and then you go ahead of them to like make life easier for them.
I can't help but feel, if you're on kind of playing both sides and having read the books and seen the films and all of that, I can't help but feel playing one of the bad guys. It does feel like the odds are slightly stacked against you.
I mean, you don't. Not in Lotro. There's like an arena PvP where you play the orcs and all that stuff, but that's restricted. That's restricted to the
Okay.
side of
I thought you were saying you could play as orcs and things like that, which
you can, but it's in a very limited situation. It's in like, you know how WoW has like the battlegrounds?
Yeah.
So Lotro's PvP is like players versus it's players versus monster players, and the monster players have their own little like subgroup.
We somehow went from
stuff.
Went from Warhammer to 40K.
But you want stupid conversations. You should be glad I don't work tonight because I'm not stopping it. I'm feeding into it.
Anyways,
so the whole thing about Lotro is everyone thought that it was dead because WoW kind of happened, and Lotro showed up, and it wasn't ever meant to be a WoW killer, but I mean everyone thought it was dead, and then the company that just recently bought it, like I want to say 5-ish years ago, they've been coming out with DLC for it, and now it's got raids and stuff, and so it was mind blowing. I just remember beta testing Lotro. I remember getting in on the beta. I had so much fun with that. It's free to play now, by the way, so go check it out if you're interested in a free to play.
A shilling.
Not sponsored. Hashtag
Not
could be sponsored.
It doesn't sound like that company's a thing. So.
I was going to say, if you're free to play, I don't think you've got the money for sponsorship.
No, they're making bank. I'm going to be honest. Like, what small community is there, they're making bank. I mean, it's Final Fantasy's social circle is just large. Lotro's is like dedicated.
Oh.
Makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
Let's roll that intro.
Only recently hatched, he's still rather large, about 17 feet long from snout to tail.
I'll be handling a lot of the diplomatic affairs.
There's nothing worth fighting the Mokir over for anyways. Nothing of physical value, at least.
I'm really hoping there's going to be some money here, because if not, there's only going to be 3.
But we're going to cut this out because this is where the intro is going to go blah, 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 blah. Leo, why don't you tell us about your car?
It's a labor of love. It's kept going purely on prayers and held together with gaffer tape and bubblegum. So yeah, kind of kicks out this ungodly black smoke every time it stops or starts. There is no subtlety to that to the engine. Sort of just rumbles the whole time.
Now, obviously you're the driver. Assuming Vance has a nice, comfortable up front. I'm curious as to how Yax'silith is getting along in the back seat. Cars not necessarily being designed for a serpentine body such as theirs.
Gonna have to deal with it. I mean, it's better than walk. I say it's better than walking. I'm gonna do that a lot, by the way. I'm gonna say walk, even though I'm not walking. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
We could get a trailer for him.
And then
I don't need a trailer. I think there's someone else that needs.
Someone else is being a bit left out, yes.
somebody is flying beside the car. Ashar.
Also, we got 2 back seats. Problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, I got plenty of room. We're good.
I wasn't even where we were going to start together. I'll be honest. I missed that memo.
It's always easier when everybody starts together. But
No, that's fair.
We didn't meet at a tavern, we met in a car.
Come on, I did that one time.
You meet in a shitty dive bar.
No, if you recall, when I GM'd, y'all all met in midair.
so, Leo, you have been given the coordinates to this new settlement from the Tomorrow Legion. They gave you the coordinates, told you the pertinent details of we were reached out by their mayor, one individual named Enders. He has asked the Legion, the Tomorrow Legion, for help in establishing this new little community of his. The 4 of you have been dispatched to go and see what sort of help is needed. You have been given, unfortunately, very sparse details. All of you know of Mayor Enders Evan Track, is the mayor. The current ruling raider in the area is known as Nightmare Kresh. He controls the raider element there underneath the so-called emperor of the Picos Empire. And let's just say Leo's vehicle has seen better days. The amount of caked on sand and dirt just from this journey alone it's probably made the ride a bit rougher. Is there even a top on this car?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard top. But it's much more sort of like started once upon a time. This car started in Blade Runner. It is now fully in Mad Max.
So was Asher just like hanging on to the top like a cat on a little mobile car? Like on an RV car?
I don't think the engine.
What is Asher doing? I'm assuming flying or running.
Yeah, probably either flying or running, trying to keep up, depending on how fast that car goes. I don't know.
Not very, from the sound of it.
Oh well, no, Leo still moves it.
Yeah, I guess it would also depend on the terrain, because if he's, turning to avoid obstacles, I don't gotcha. I go straight.
That's true.
So the 3 of you, technically 4 of you, but Asher's within earshot outside. If you wish to discuss things with each other, go right ahead. Or not.
I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at the road going, like, what's the scenery like?
We are talking blasted desert. About as
Flat?
South California, got it.
More or less. Sometimes you see a tumbleweed, but most of the time it's just skyline. It is probably the most boring drive anybody has ever been on recently, at the very least.
As we are going down the road, tumbleweed goes by, and I just look back and go, is that a different tumbleweed? Or was that the same one?
Hard to tell.
I'm just looking over it. I'm looking at Leo. Like, it's been too quiet.
Yeah, let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna this sort of like it's sort of slightly kind of in the inside there is that kind of like slightly kind of futuristic tech of the very kind of cyberpunk. So like there's like the kind of little revolving sat nav three-dimensional kind of holographic map. How far out are we?
You are probably at least another hour out, so too long, but it's also been probably an hour since you saw the last little term. Village is probably too strong of a word in this portion of the Picos Empire, or Picos Badlands. Actually, probably what it's more known as here, since we are close to the coalition border.
Is the tumbleweed is good. You got a real problem.
So you're close to. You're not quite on the border, but you're going towards the border of the Lone Star complex, which is controlled by the coalitions.
Oh, so okay, we're about here.
Is this yeah, to be honest, if you've got tumbleweed, you haven't got problems. Tumbleweed is good.
Yeah, it's a sign of something. Hard to believe this place used to be farmland a long time ago.
How long you talking? That's ancient history.
Oh, just some books from used to read when I was young, you know.
Overturn enough soil and you find it without the books.
Yeah, well, I read one book and it's not for me. It takes too long, beginning to end. Give me something, now, fast.
I look at our map and I look at him. As fast as we're going, we're still an hour out from anything, so I could give you the short notes if you wanted.
Yeah, go on, hit me with it.
Hold on. Sorry, go ahead.
As stated, Asher, you're within earshot of all this. You can still hear and participate in the conversation.
Yeah, I figured.
Even if you're flying by the car.
I do want to fly a little bit closer and kind of yell in the window if it's down. Are we there yet?
No.
No, when we're going to be there?
Do you think when I get there, I might, stop?
I'm not sure if you will. When we get there, how much do we want to place bets on just an abandoned town, everyone dead of dehydration already, killed by raiders? I
thought they were raiders.
250, I'll see you. And I'll kind of reach back into the back for a handshake on that.
Are you betting for or against the town being gone?
Completely gone, wiped off the face of the earth.
I don't know if it's going to be completely gone. I'm gonna say a couple survivors, and then I'll shake his hand.
Oh, an optimist.
Oh, you know how it is, these places. They'll have to come up with a fancy name for themselves and think that they're the latest and greatest. But at the end of the day, they're just trying to survive. Get away from it all. It's funny, really. We used to think cities made people safe.
Was there something that you wanted to ask?
Oh, I was going to ask if I needed a history roll to determine vaguely where we would be in the, if, say, Vance, had an education in ancient geography or something.
You have, like, academics?
Let's see.
Otherwise, that is...
Let's see. Specifically academics? No, doesn't look like it. Looks like I did better in repair, that's right.
No academics adjacent. Research.
I mean, I got smarts.
It would be
it
a
would be,
skill.
yeah, it would be an untrained academics.
So just roll the smarts or roll the d4.
There should be a button unskilled attempt.
It'll be at the bottom of your skill list. Yeah.
Is that a success?
That is a success. Target number is
I'm trying
4.
to read the dice. Sorry.
It's not showing up in the chat. Yeah.
It's showing in the chat.
Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
It exploded. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a 4. So, yeah, you have some relatively... It's not like deep knowledge of the area, but you read about this area and what it was before the rifts opened.
Because personal player knowledge, we're looking at about... You said we're going from Los Alamo up to Lone Star? Or...
You're somewhere close to the border of the Lone Star here.
Yeah,
Where
right.
are we going specifically?
You're going towards the border.
So, okay.
South border?
So it doesn't have a pin on the map yet.
No, there's no pin on the map.
Gotcha.
They're
Gotcha.
unincorporated.
Uh-huh.
But no, I'd look at it and say, used to be an entire network of highways and interstate travel. I think where we passed a little bit ago used to be called San Angelo, I believe, if my history's correct.
And now it's the same as everywhere else.
Oh yeah,
Tumbleweed. If
empires. Empires rise and fall. It's all about what we can do in the short time we have.
Without...
Speaking of speaking of short time.
I was just going to say. An hour goes by. And that's when this hovel city, nothing is made new. Everything is reused. Sheet metal, any sort of concrete propped up. Definitely made from whatever they could scavenge from the region. Roughly about 5 houses pull up to what you would consider the outer border. There's no house marking it, but it's one of those things by just looking at the area, you can tell this is the outer perimeter. Other houses are, you can tell, lived in. You see people moving about. Looks to be roughly the correct amount of people for the number of housing. The only 2 major features that stand out is the large centerpiece of this town, which looks to be some old, relatively important looking building. You're not sure what it was in the past, but it could have been a library or a state house, essentially. And the other thing of note is, if you thought the town was ramshackle looking, the camp right next to the town is even worse.
Not a surprise.
And from the noticeable pikes with heads stuck on them, you pretty much are certain who controls that little campsite. And we're talking, these are within walking distance. Probably about a 10-minute walk from the town to the camp and back.
So the heads, are they... Oh, sorry.
You have all this space and you decided to build right here near the Death Spike head people. Okay. I give him a week.
Well, now, depending what heads are on the spike, it could just be a warning. Crude, but effective nonetheless.
Did they get them from here, or did they bring them with them?
I would assume these are locally sourced craniums.
Ashar,
It
give me a notice roll.
sure.
I think you.
What, the CIA drone following him because he sticks out?
Roll. How do I roll it? There we go.
So that's a yes.
With your somewhat enhanced vision, yes, pretty much. Originally, people saw the car and they were like, "Oh, that's fine. People come by." However, nobody looks at the car for more than 3 seconds. Their eyes are locked on. Why don't you go ahead and give us a description of your character?
All right, so yeah, although Ashar is only recently hatched, he's still rather large, about 17 feet long from snout to tail. Mostly red scales. There's a bit of tan on the underneath, and his hands and feet fade into black. He's got a pair of horns and some smaller ones coming out along his jaw, and then a row of spikes down from the back of his head all the way down to his tail. His wings are not large yet. They're about the same length as his body, maybe a little bit longer. But he can still fly just fine. What else? Very green eyes. Like emerald green, noticeably like a bright contrast to the rest of his body. Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing people are looking at this time is the dragon that has decided to grace their town.
I love how he went that entire description without saying the word dragon.
Yeah.
It's okay, people, to say he's a dragon. Like,
By the way, I'm a dragon.
yeah,
Probably
like,
lead with that minor detail.
you might want to lead with that. The paragraph description followed by, "Oh, by the way, there's sand falling in the room." Might want to have led with that one.
17 feet long is kind of okay.
Who's the first?
Might want to have led with, "It's a 17-foot long dragon," and then you could have gone into like color description, that sort of thing. You know?
Who's the next?
Order of operations.
Who's the first out of the car?
I mean, I want to get out of the
fast.
car because I don't like sitting in cars. But
Is there a back door or is the seat fold forward?
do I have to wait for the people on the front to get out?
No, I think it's 4-door.
It's a sedan.
All right, we have the technology for a 4-door vehicle.
I'm not gonna make you guys continuously roll notice rolls. The second, how would you like me to, Yax? I'll just say Yax. As Yax slithers out, because that's the correct term.
Correct term.
Gazes are now equally split between the two of you. Why don't you go ahead and give us a description of Yax?
Hello, I am non-humanoid body type number 2. I am not a dragon. I am much closer to humanoid. Yax is a serpentine individual, kind of like lower body's a snake, upper body's a torso, human torso-ish. But the whole thing's scaled over. He's got tan black scales, and he wears a kind of a heavy duster just to kind of fit in with polite society. Doesn't care too much for decency, because that doesn't work like that. But he wears it to fit in with polite society. And yes, he slithers out of the car because seats are not designed for me to sit on. Yeah, I much prefer having the sand underneath me again.
I would say pretty quickly you notice more armed individuals begin to make their way from the camp towards this new vehicle that's coming up, cautiously approaching.
At this point, I will get out.
Yep.
Give us a description of Leo.
So Leo is a honest to God's human, or sort of. Once again, this is rather than being born into some variant. He is entirely created. So first thing that anyone notices is probably the two sort of indented feeds that almost seem to run in sort of into his eyes, down the sides of his cheeks, and then into his neck. There's which at the moment seem to pulse blue. Same on his hands. The fingers have long since gone, have been replaced by automaton parts. And the it's sort of, although it's one of those sorts of details that looks much more human. There's certain things you can tell the components have been replaced. His eyes, the irises rotate like an aperture to actually, so that the pupil dilates and things like that. And there's those little inconsistencies where things are wrong. Built by design.
People
Other than that, yeah, slightly kind of longer hair, half kind of tied back in a ponytail, slightly slight beards, and a jacket which has got sort of LED light designs on it.
You seem to draw the least amount of attention as it stands right now. Everybody's like, oh, that seems more normal. As these rough-hewn individuals, two of them specifically, come up, they have what appear to be some sort of homemade gun. You've never seen it before. Their armor seems to, what they would call armor, seems to be handmade as well. And they are very cautiously eyeing the dragon, but they direct their conversation to you, Leo, since you've stepped up. Oi! I hope you're not planning on causing any trouble here.
Yeah, well, why don't you walk up to us with a lot of guns and see how far that gets you? Or you could start with, what happened to pleasantries? How's the journey? Great to see you.
Can
Glad
I
you
get out
made
at
it.
this point?
If you wish to get out.
The door is jammed. You cannot.
No. But yeah, the last person to come out of the car, sort of juxtaposed with the dragon, the snake, and the totally not Florida man. The wind kind of blows into a set of brown robes as the hood sort of comes pulled back. You see a relatively, for lack of better words, untouched human being with just very, very plain by comparison is what I'm going with. Simple farmer's robes, very nice, just kind of a couple of adornments that sort of stand out from the basic robes. The biggest thing, of course, is the emblem that sort of identifies him as a not as a cyber knight, that stays hidden, but as like an ambassador of sorts. So he's got kind of a, I wouldn't say nobility look, but he's got kind of a I guess politician style look. He's dressed up a little more. He's clean, bit cleaner and all, but yeah, as he comes out and the robes sort of blow back from the wind to the visage, he walks up and looks at the gathering and says, "Gentlemen, we did not come here to start trouble. But I agree, some pleasantries would be in order were it not for the sudden and strange development these past few seconds."
They don't have they don't have the weapons leveled at you. They are in a more relaxed state. Listen, you're out here, this far from anywhere and this close, and his head gestures towards the. If you went a few more miles, there would be a border into the coalition of Lone Star. Can't take anything for granted. Now, I know you're not anything to do with the coalition, as the two non-human individuals, but close continues to eye the dragon. Makes us nervous. But what's your business here?
We were
Enders. Where's Enders? Sorry, Enders was the mayor of this town, right?
Yes. Yeah. Gestures with the point of the rifle. Big building, center of town. However, might be more useful to talk to our boss first. Make sure everything's, all kosher. There's the word, kosher.
I look towards Vance. There's this kind of your call.
Perhaps we should divide and conquer, metaphorically speaking.
Are there two bosses? Is his boss your boss, or is I thought Mayor Enders was the one in charge? That's who called, yes?
We were summoned by Mayor Enders, yes, but if we must speak with your boss beforehand, then I see no immediate concern there.
You'll be speaking with Koresh first. You are correct. Enders is in charge of this. Koresh, however, is in charge of protection and liaisoning with the emperor of this empire. When he says that, there's no notice roll needed for this. You can tell that when he calls this place an empire, there is a deep level of sarcasm, but he knows better than not to call it that, just because it's been beaten into him. Like, you get that sense where you're just like, yeah, he's only calling it an empire because he's called it something else another time, and it did not work out very well for him.
Yes, well, as empires go, it's not yet one for the history books, I suppose.
No, his mightiness kind of said, trying to pull up it.
No, you're good.
Saber Lassar. He would have this be an empire for the history books.
Funny thing, empires, they begin as nations at war and end in ruin. So what stage we're at is yet to be determined. But very well, if we need to speak to your boss, then that's what we'll do.
Follow us. 4 of you. Keep close. Kind of ice the dragon. Maybe not close enough where an errant turn could send it crawling.
I look back at Ashar and I go, remember, swing wide. It's a dragon tail after all.
Oh, keep it up.
That mental image is hilarious.
Yeah, do dragons have prehensile tails? This is the.
This is some lore we need to know. Okay, Mr. Storyteller, GM, Game Master. Who are you?
Can we get a ruling? Can we get a ruling on this? Do dragons
This
have
may
prehensile
come up.
tails?
Can he pick
Does
up like
Asher
a
know
sword?
tail whip?
Yes,
I do.
Asher does no tail whip.
Okay.
As for
But you
if
can do
it's,
that with momentum.
if it's prehensile, probably not. I don't think so.
But does it wag?
The tip.
As these two individuals, they don't chit chat with each other at all. If anybody wants to give me a battle roll, actually,
Battle.
yeah,
None of us have battle, I'll tell you that.
Fighting.
It's a separate skill.
Yes,
Yeah,
battle.
that's what I was thinking.
Battle
No,
is
no,
more your.
Battle is more of a tactics.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't use that.
I could have sworn I had that, but apparently I don't.
You can make an unskilled check, as always.
I'll take
Oh,
that.
you know me. I already succeeded.
Faith in the
I
dice.
Why not? Let's give it a
already
try.
succeeded once. It's not gonna.
Hey!
No,
No, it's it was.
What is it now?
Oh, wait, no, I got a minus
not
2
how that works.
because it's unskilled.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, I got.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah.
Snake Man.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
wild duck.
Who probably not military trained, but you can tell they've definitely had some training and they know when to talk and when to keep their mouth shut. They've clammed up in that we don't know what can say here, so we're going to err on the side of caution and not type silence. As they lead you through the outskirts of the town into the camp area, where it is very much a makeshift camp, something that is designed to be able to be moved at a moment's notice. A lot of vehicles in probably worse shape than even. However, the centerpiece of that is a burned out tank that this individual sits on top of, almost as if it were some sort of parody of a throne. This individual wears makeshift power armor. So he is massive. And one thing that all of you notice is, while everybody here in this little camp seems to have weaponry, they don't have what he has, which is essentially an autocannon strapped to his arm. That's when I say strapped, it does have straps on it, but you can tell it is also welded in some places. Arm of the power armor. And he kind of looks down at the three of you and then up at Asher. All right.
What would you done with the place?
Thank you. Common courtesy. Name's Kresh. I meant call
So
me.
when he says the common courtesy, I just want to look at the two guys, and see, he gets it.
My man called me Nightmare.
Why did I call you Nightmare?
You better pray you never have to find out.
Generally, if you get called Nightmare, you either do something to earn it, or you had the opportunity to come up with your own alias. Either or.
Asher, it's probably not wise to question someone in power. Perhaps you should leave those questions for another time.
Kind of leans back against the... He's sitting on essentially what would have been the armored part of the tread, and he kind of leans back, props his arm. There's still the hand rest, or the handrail there, so he kind of props his arm up. He's got very nonchalant lean, despite being very clearly the most armored individual here. Heavily armed. So
I want to lean down to Vance. Is he in power because he's in power armor?
I'm going to just, people with the ability to...
are you whispering
beat
this first
anyone-
off?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
whispering to him. People with the ability... people have often created civilizations based on the strength of their leadership. To question that leadership is to invite trouble across the entire community. So it's important to respect people who remain at the top of their respective communities.
Damn right. And get this position for being no pushover.
No.
Now,
And we are not here to push anyone over, for what it's worth.
yes, the four of you are here because of Enders. He leans forward. Yeah, I know everything. I know he sent out that call for help. I knew that people were being sent. I just don't know how the wind's gonna blow here. Wanted to meet the four of you, or however many there are. Assuming it's just you four.
It's all that was requested for us. You would know if he'd asked for other people, I'm sure.
He didn't request you specifically, he just requested aid. It was up to the Tomorrow Legion who they sent four. So,
It's fine.
you've been
Sorry. Go ahead.
You've been asked to help, and help you shall. But I want to make sure you have the right knowledge of everything out here. Enders is an idealistic fool.
Yeah, about that. Everyone keeps saying help. Help implies, goodwill. I was kind of hoping for, and now you say that Enders is an ideologue. I'm really hoping there's going to be some money here, because if not, there's only going to be 3.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Enders pays. I don't know where he gets the money. But his
money's good, I'm good.
And
I'm
very good. Otherwise, I wouldn't
And
be
I'm
out here.
I like this guy.
He's paid Saber a considerable sum for protection, which is why we're here. I run the security detail. However, his money is all personal and is tied up paying these fees to the Tomorrow Legion, you guys, and myself. So he doesn't have a lot of capital. I bring in the capital through, well, let's just say I deal in fish. Anybody wants to roll common knowledge here on what that might mean?
Hey, I know that. I have that skill.
Everyone has that skill. It came free with your character.
Even I have that skill.
I'm not seeing any failures so far.
Why am I not rolling?
Use your
there we go.
hand. Give it a throw.
Oh.
Use
Nice.
Soul in the wrist.
Very quickly, some of the architecture of this place, of this camp, makes a little bit more sense. They're slave cages.
Ew.
That's how this little turns a profit currently and stays above water. So what he's going to ask you to do, to help them get get this little village, this little piece of paradise set up. He's probably also going to ask you to get rid of us eventually. I'm here to stop the bleeding and get you on my side. I'm not gonna ask you to make any decisions right at this moment, but I want you to take a good look around. Look at this area. Look at everything that you know to be true in this world. Tell me honestly. Think that idealistic old fool can prance off and create his little fantasy world? Or if somebody a bit more practical is better for the job? Just wanted to put that in your head before you see Enders. As long as you don't do anything stupid, you'll have no problem with my guys, not even you, and he points at the dragon. However, bit of free advice for you. Keep your head down. Coalition does come through this area every now and again. You don't want them looking at you. Or you. Points at.
Is it not
Well-
your task as you're sent here by the Emperor? I was, I thought that borders meant something to the Emperor. You let the Coalition entrance on his territory?
See, here's the funny thing about borders. There's a current argument about what this place is. Pico Badlands? Is it the Picos Empire? You ask one person, they'll give you one answer. You ask the other, they'll give you the other answer. Right now, we're both in the situation of prefer not to poke the gigantic skeleton mech that is the Coalition with a stick. So as long as they don't interfere with anything, yes, we let them encroach on borders because it's just easy not to bother them.
Shrugging. There's nothing worth fighting them here over for anyways.
Not at the moment.
Nothing of physical value, at least. Maybe moral value, but
Perhaps our more optimistic clientele is looking to make this place more valuable, which could cause its own problems, I admit. We certainly don't want to suddenly become a jewel right on the border. I'm sure now that you know your men want that kind of trouble. I'm leading, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to lead into what his real intentions are here. Like, does he want to grow? Does he want to, like, keep it the way it is? That kind of thing. I'm trying to probe
Why don't you give a
what he's
persuasion roll?
concerned about. Ooh, goody. My thing that I'm...
Just pumping him for information, essentially.
Yeah. Come on. 14.
Give him a resist.
Yeah, no.
Didn't think that was gonna go very
I mean,
well.
I'm not trying to force it. I'm trying to do the whole diplomatic,
Who raises?
Yeah, but force and like manipulate are basically the same word, just in different tones.
Manipulation is just force with a smile.
And that's what you're doing.
I'm smiling, aren't I?
Kind of looks at you. Listen, this is a decent enough place. There's certain strategies you're going to learn about. And realistically, if this does become a jewel, as you call it, then so be it. It has potential. as stated, there are certain resources that are unique. You'll hear more about those from me. I don't. I just don't think it has the metal for what it's going to take.
A fair assessment.
But I've kept the four of you long enough. I just, as stated, wanted to bend your ear first for that idealistic prattle goes 4 hours.
By that discussion, should it take that long, we might be. Would there be any uncomfortable feelings should the group, break up and adventure individually amongst the city? Because if he's going to go on for 4 hours, I'm probably going to be the only one that can physically and mentally stand it.
Yep. All yours. Go for it.
I'm going to find somewhere with
pragmatic, adventurous friends might enjoy seeing what there is here.
It literally looks at the 5 houses and the state building and goes, well,
part of the wall just right as I mentioned that.
One wall looks like it's dangerously close to doing that, but it doesn't quite. But he goes,
you understand what I mean.
Yeah. Bunk houses for sleep are in the state building thing. There's a bar, general store. They don't have much. Got some moonshine at the bar. You'll be taking your chances with that.
Good luck with Anders. I'm just going to tap
Vance on the shoulder.
Sorry, Vance. Yeah, it's that kind of like tap, the sort of chest tap of, and yeah, I'm going to make my way in the direction of wherever he's indicating where that bar was.
And Leo is off.
I'm going to look at, his name was Kresh. So basically, if you have anything that is a little more actionable that we could assist with, you'll want to talk to my associate. I'll be handling a lot of the diplomatic affairs, but I do consider myself a bit of idealism mixed with pragmatism. I don't particularly find delusions of grandeur to be my preference. So consider my ear bent, if it's any consolation.
There's a couple of things I might, but I'll let Anders handle the... But there's certainly a couple of things we can work on if you are actually interested in putting the correct people. With that,
if you don't mind, I'm gonna let them have a moment. I need a moment.
Kind of he leans back and kind of rests as if you can tell this individual talking is not his strong suit. As Leo leaves, though, and hits the bar. The bar you find, Leo. The best way to tell, or to explain it, is it looks like it used to be something else. As in, you almost get casino vibes from it. It's almost like a casino bar. But there's doesn't seem to be any games of chance here anymore. And it's been run down to the point where the tacky setting has been washed away and become much more utilitarian. The bar.
So yeah, goes straight line to the bar.
The person behind the bar, the bartender, seems to be a woman in her 30s. Kind of looks over. She's sturdily built, probably 6 foot tall, 300 pounds, but we're not talking, she looks like she could probably, on a good day, maybe lift Ashar and break its spine. Like, she's that solidly built. She's a massive woman. What can I get you?
I told you do moonshine.
All you can get around here.
That's all good. I drink moonshine.
We got 3 varieties. Eyes you up and down real quick. I would recommend the medium. That's not a slight either. That's more just a test.
Oh, because now you've done it. You've challenged me.
Listen,
There's one thing I hate. It's being challenged.
I don't want to spend the next 3 hours cleaning up vomit. Just on the off chance, okay?
Try me.
All right. I would say it's your funeral, but it hasn't killed anybody, so I'm not going to say that, but I may talk to you tomorrow morning about cleaning stuff up for me.
You have got a deal.
She produces, it almost looks like well water from this big apparatus. It's essentially a direct from the brewing station, and she slides over an full glass of it. Well, she actually leans on the bar and starts rubbing her chin, very clearly interested to see how you handle it. And I'm going to require a vigor roll. This stuff is strong.
I'm on D8. So yeah, there's this. Take a sniff, and take a healthy gulp. Oh gosh, yeah, success. No raise.
That is a success.
Oh. Oh.
The term battery acid feels apt almost with how much it burns going down. This is not a drink that's meant to be smooth either. It's not like it was brewed wrong or anything like that. No, that's the desired effect of this drink.
There's that moment of kind of like slamming the glass down several times and oh. And with that, call my curiosity satiated. I will stick to medium.
Hey, you didn't vomit within the first 5 seconds, so hey, if you ever want to order it again, feel free. And she produces a medium for you. By the way, we're going to start talking about a tab. First one's on the house. You're new in town, right? Haven't seen you before.
Yeah, extend a hand with slightly, kind of the weird joint, sort of like automated fingers. It's the Leo, friends call me Saki. For obvious reasons.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I always debate on how to introduce myself. My name's Fiona, though. You can also call me Tigraine. That's a little alias I picked up while I was a wrestler.
Well, great. There's always stories behind somebody's name.
And she takes your hand, and her hand, like, literally engulfs yours. That's how this woman, as stated, is just
With the
massive.
waffle irons.
Yeah.
Waffle iron hands, yeah. So, how does a prize fighter end up slinging booze in such a wonderful little, border town.
I decided I would prefer to do this, quite frankly.
So that's it. Just up and leave. Whole life behind you. That's it. Gone. Just start again.
She kind of moves her bright red hair out of her face. Yeah.
Hey. You do you.
As leave this scene, what are the other three doing?
I assume
suppose.
going to talk to the guy who asked us to come out here. That's what I plan to do personally.
We'll be going together.
Ashar,
Asher,
unfortunately, gets stuck outside.
Stuck outside, yeah. So he's kind of torn between.
we can't
Yeah,
just have him like put his ear up against a window, listen in, and
I can get it covered if he wants to be part of the conversation. I've got it covered.
Yeah, so
But he's not going in the building.
Get a little tin can with a string, throw it through the window.
well, I'm kind of debating between, he wants to, be with the group and see what the job is. It's his very first mission after all. But at the same time, it's a new place. He wants to see what's there, and
Right.
Saki went that way.
I forgot.
Saki, you did see Saki go into a building that there's no way you're gonna fit into either. Unless you transform.
All these buildings are too small.
And I will say Vance has long before this cautioned Asher on the perils of booze. So
Doesn't taste good anyway.
he's had the don't drink conversation with Asher.
How much alcohol does it take to intoxicate a dragon?
Do you
I'd
want
rather not pay the tab finding out.
the meta answer or
No.
I don't want any answer, actually.
okay?
The two of you, there's no guards, so you literally can just walk into this building. And it doesn't take very long to find the not quite elderly, but he's certainly pushing the outer edges of.
He's getting discount coffees.
His hair is slicked back. He has a nicely groomed beard. He has a plain beige shirt under a brown duster. There seems to be what seem to be military badges on his chest. As calls out, okay, I can't foresee you being anybody other than who the Tomorrow Legion is. Am I correct?
Yes, you would be spot on, sir. Observant as always, I'm sure.
Just the two? That's all they thought they'd send?
We have other associates, one waiting outside due to size constraints, and the other currently just getting a feel for the general area.
He stands up.
He's drinking.
Getting a feel for the general area, I'm sure.
Stands up from what appears to be a little writing desk. Says, well, if size constraints are a problem, I have a balcony we can planning on using. I can also provide drinks up there, and whatever it is, however big your friend is, I'm sure the balcony will be fine.
He could probably get his head up there.
You see a bit of a confused look, but he gestures to a spiral staircase and leads you up it.
Suffice to say, we have found our adventurers a unique companion of the draconian variety.
Oh, I think he stops dead in his tracks, looks back. Dragon. Well, I can't say that the Tomorrow Legion skimps on muscle then.
No, indeed not. We also don't, we also try not to waste too much time either.
He nods and continues to lead you up to an outdoor balcony where there is a bottle of wine being chilled in a bucket of ice. There does seem to be assortment, snacks, vegetable pastries, and I didn't know what I needed to provide because so I tried to provide a little bit of everything that would
I
cover
assure
all
you,
dietary concerns.
any gesture is more than appreciated in these parts.
Takes a seat and gestures towards the seat across from him from Vance, and then looking at Yax, he actually gestures towards it's a bench, but he has put cushions on it, so it's not quite a couch, but it's certainly more comfortable than a bench.
Very well. So, your business you call us here for?
Yes, business. Ashar, are you gonna poke your head up?
If I hear, I probably would hear them. So yeah,
Yes.
I'll
wander
just call
around and
Asha.
poke my head up. Hello.
Well, hey, you have a conversation with the dragons. Sorry. How old are you?
2 months.
Gives a
Ish.
very concerned look towards Vance and Yax.
He's an intern. You got to start him off young.
This is my very first mission.
Well, you didn't want to waste any time, so get started. And on that, we're going to call this session